up, y'all? Welcome back to the Zayvon Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah. And y'all, I'm here to preview the WNBA Finals matchup between the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx. So without further ado, let's get straight into it, man. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing well. All right, y'all. So let's look at how the regular season went, man. And the Minnesota Lynx won the regular season series 3-1. Now I will say this. I do not think this is going to impact this series one way or the other because last year, y'all, the New York Liberty absolutely dominated the Las Vegas Aces in their regular season matchups, and obviously, the Las Vegas Aces went on to win the finals. And so, I don't think this is again going to have any. This is not going to be an indication of how this series is going to go. But I will say this: the Minnesota Lynx did have a ton of success against New York Liberty's defense. I do think the Liberty are a much improved defensive team than what they were, say, 2 or 3 months ago. But again, I don't think this is gonna have any bearing on this series because y'all, it's playoff time now, and more specifically, excuse me, it's finals time. So we know the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx, both of these teams are ready to go. All right, y'all, let's get into Zay's key matchups and X factors, y'all. And my first key matchup, man, two best players in this series, Stewie versus Fee, y'all, and I cannot wait to see them go against each other. You're talking about two top 5 players in our league, y'all. I don't think they're going to be guarding each other a ton. Just because I do think that both of their head coaches are going to try to conserve their energy, for the offensive end because both of these players, y'all, Stewie and Fee, I mean, they're two-way players, right? So they're not just great defensive players, also really great offensively as well. So they're going to need to conserve their energy for that end of the floor. But when they do match up with each other, y'all, I mean, they're pretty even, right? The only advantage I would say that Stewie has over Fee would be shooting. She's a better shooter than the Fisa Carter. But other than that, y'all, I mean, both of them 6'4", can handle the ball, long, athletic, guard multiple positions, man, really good passers, and obviously just, great leaders for their team. And for their teams to win this series, y'all, they're going to need, their superstar players to play at elite level because although both of these teams have a lot of talent, y'all, this series comes down to these two players, Stewie and Afisa Carter. Whoever has the better series, I think is going to lead their team to victory because, again, you need your superstar players to be playing the best, y'all, come playoff time, come WNBA Finals time, and I can't wait to see who's going to have the advantage in that matchup. All right, y'all, next up, my second key matchup is Leone Phoebus versus Kayla McBride. And, man, Leone Phoebus has been phenomenal so far during the playoffs. Um, she was inserted into the starting lineup for Courtney Vandersloot. And the reason that happened, y'all, is because Leone Phoebus has so much size. She's 6'4". She can guard a lot of positions, man. She's versatile. She's a really, really, really great shooter. I mean, she's shooting 59% from three and 65% from the floor so far during the playoffs, y'all. And mind you, it's not like she's only taking like 1 or 2 threes a game. She normally takes about 4 or 5 threes a game, and she's still making it at an extremely high clip. So Leone Phoebus has been phenomenal. But y'all, now she's going against Kayla McBride. It's going to be a very tough matchup for her because Kayla McBride, I've said this multiple times on this channel, she's one of the greatest shooters in WNBA history, man. She's a phenomenal scorer as well. Not just shooter, she's just a phenomenal scorer. Kayla McBride had a really great game last night, 19 points in that closeout game against the Connecticut Sun. And Leone Phoebus is going to have her work cut out for her, y'all, because Kayla McBride just constantly is moving around offensively. And Leone Phoebus is going to have to, keep up with her because if she's unable to, with Kayla McBride, y'all, you do not want to give her any bit of space because if you do that, Kayla McBride is going to make it basically 99.9% of the time, right? Very rarely does Kayla McBride miss wide open threes, wide open mid-range shots. So you have to stay attached to her as best you can. And again, for Leone Phoebus, y'all, she's really going to have to try to be physical with Kayla McBride, right? Try to stay with her on when it comes to screens, because the Minnesota Lynx run a lot of screens for Kayla McBride to try to get her open. So Leone Phoebus going to have to try to be physical with Kayla McBride because Kayla McBride is a very physical player, and this is going to be a very underrated matchup because I do think Sandy Mardella is going to put Leone Phoebus on Kayla McBride. I don't think she's going to put Sabrina on her because Sabrina, although Sabrina is a good defender, she's not. I don't think she's up to the task to handle Kayla McBride. Leone Phoebus, to me, y'all, she's the best defender on the New York Liberty, not named Stewie. And we know Stewie, again, Stewie's probably going to be guarding Afisa sometimes, and then other times she might be guarding, like Maisha Hines Allen, or she might also be guarding if she plays, like say Alyssa Pilley or Alana Smith or Bridget Carlton. So I think Leonie Phoebus, she's going to have to she's going to guard, excuse me, Kelly Marad basically the entire series. And let's see if she's able to hold Kelly Marad in check, y'all, because if she's not, things to get kind of ugly for the New York Liberty, y'all. Then my last and final key matchup, and this is the major one, man. It's the Liberty bench versus the Lynx bench. Lynx bench, excuse me. Y'all have heard me say time and time again on this channel, man. The Minnesota Lynx had the deepest team in the WNBA. I mean, I just love the players that come off the bench for them, man. Started with Letitia Heidemann. She had a really solid game last night. She only had 7 points, y'all, but those were like 7 big points, man. She's a dog defensively. Maisha Hines Allen, that was an amazing trade that they made during the midseason. Y'all, they basically gave up nothing to get her, so that was a great trade by them. Maisha Hines Allen, she's just like a Swiss Army knife, man. She can just do a little bit of everything. She's a good defender. She's a solid shooter. She's an underrated passer slash playmaker, and she brings kind of that toughness, y'all, to the Minnesota Lynx bench that they really needed. And then, but it doesn't just stop with them, y'all. You also have Dorka Uhas. She's about 6'5", man. And Dorka, sometimes she can hit the three on you, but that's not really her role. Her role is to come in, play really good defense and rebound the ball. I think Dorka Uhas, y'all, is going to have a big role in this series. Last series against the Connecticut Sun, she didn't really play. But let's be honest, y'all. The New York Liberty have a lot of size on that perimeter. Kayla Thornton, Leonie Phoebus, Brianna Stewart, John Quill Jones, Niara Sabley when she plays. So you got to be able to kind of match that. I think Dorka, you guys are going to have a big role in this series, y'all. And then you also have Xander Lucina, who comes off the bench for them. I mean, Minnesota just has a very, very, very deep team, y'all. Very great bench. But I will give the New York Liberty credit, y'all. Their bench is way better than what it was last year, because last year they had Kayla Thornton come off the bench, but now you got Kennedy Burke, y'all. Kenny Burke has actually been a surprise player for them. Coming into the season, I didn't really think Kennedy Burke was going to have, that big of a role in this team. She ended up being a solid, slasher and defender for them. Now Courtney Vandersloot, she's coming off the bench. We know Courtney Vandersloot was one of the best point guards in WNBA history, man. One of the best passers in WNBA history. So the New York Liberty's bench, y'all, is going to have to try to keep up with the Minnesota Lynx bench. And the reason I say they're going to have to try to keep up is because, y'all, I mean, Minnesota, again, the threats that they have coming off their bench, I mean, I think Letitia Heidemann and Maisha Hines Allen, y'all, if they were playing for, say, like the Washington Mystics, kind of funny, because Maisha Hines Allen was playing for them, or, playing for the Dallas Wings, probably one of them, if not both of them, would be starters. But because they're playing on the team like the Minnesota Lynx, they're coming off the bench. And that's why the Minnesota Lynx have an advantage over a lot of teams, y'all, because they literally have starting caliber players coming off their bench. A lot of teams don't have that. And then, the New York Liberty have that as well. Again, and Courtney Vandersloot, obviously, and Kayla Thornton, y'all. But it's going to be interesting to see if the Liberty bench is up to the task going against the Lynx bench, y'all. Really, I think Kayla Thornton, Kayla Thornton's been playing very well. She's one of the best 3-and-D players in the league, y'all. But again, she's going against Maisha Hines Allen. Is she still gonna have that kind of success? I don't know. Courtney Vandersloot, she is better than Atisha Heidemann, so I think she wins that matchup. But it's gonna be interesting, y'all. Kayla Thornton versus Maisha Hines Allen. Let's see. And then is Niara Sabley gonna get any playing time? I don't know. Is Kenny Burke gonna continue her, pretty decent play? We'll have to see. Because now, y'all, it's really the bright lights, right? If you thought the first 2 rounds were big, now this is even bigger. Remember, the New York Liberty, y'all, this is their 6th trip to the finals. They have not won the NBA Finals. They have not won the WNBA Finals championship yet. So they're gonna be hungry to do this. So let's see if these young players that come off their bench, really, and Kennedy Burke and Niara Sabley, if she plays, let's see if they can handle y'all, because they're going against a talented and veteran-led Minnesota Lynx bench, y'all. And with that being said, it's time for me to give y'all my X factors. And I think there are two, y'all. It's Leonie Phoebus and Bridget Carlton. And I already talked about Leonie Phoebus, man, how well she's been playing. Again, she's shooting about 59% from three, which is just ridiculous. It's 65% from the floor, y'all. But she's also, again, as I stated, man, her defense has been phenomenal. She's 6'4", long arms, athletic, all that good stuff. But then you look at Bridget Carlton, y'all. And Bridget Carlton is basically Leonie Phoebus, but just a couple of inches shorter, right? Because Bridget Carlton is a great three-point shooter. She struggled last night, but Bridget Carlton is still a very good shooter. She's a very versatile player, man. The Minnesota Lynx ask a lot from her, because a lot of times Bridget Carlton normally guards like the second or third best player on the opposing team. And she normally, she normally does well for herself. She's going to get some very good players, y'all. And so I think whichever role player, quote unquote, for these teams plays better, could actually all tip that scale in the other team's favor. Like, I think that's how important Leonie Phoebus and Bridget Carlton are going to be to this series, because we know the star players, right? Kayla McBride, Courtney Williams, Nafisa Collier for the Minnesota Lynx. Then the New York Liberty side of things, you have Stewie, John Quill Jones, Sabrina, Banaja Lane. We know they're going to play very well. They're going to do their thing. But it's going to come down to these two players, y'all, because they are very, very, very important to what their team does. And because what they provide for their team is such important skills. Again, they're elite three-point shooting and elite defense. We know they're going to, both of them, I would say both of them to have really good series in terms of their defense. Can both of them shoot the ball well, y'all? We'll see. Again, Bridget Carlton, she struggled last night. Lonely Phoebus has been, more consistent so far during the playoffs, but I think Bridget Carlton, she's going to be ready to go. So these are my two S factors, y'all. Again, Leonie Phoebus and Bridget Carlton. And with that being said, man, it's time for me to give y'all my winner of this series. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of went back and forth with this one because I think this is going to be a very, very, very physical and kind of old school style series. I think we're gonna get to see like kind of late 90s / early 2000s WNBA basketball being played, because both of these teams, man, they love to play defense. And although both of these teams can really, really, really score the basketball, y'all, I just feel like this is going, a lot of these games are going to be more low scoring than what some people might think, just because, again, they're just elite defensively. The Minnesota Lynx have been, I think, the best defensive team in the league all season long. And then the New York Liberty, probably the last 2 months of the season, they were probably the second best defensive team in the league, y'all. So I think, again, it's going to be a grinded out, old school, rugged kind of series, y'all. But in the end, man, I have the Minnesota Lynx winning this series in 5 games. And y'all, I've said this multiple times on this channel. I think y'all know what I'm going to say, man. The Minnesota Lynx, just the depth that they have on their team, y'all, I think is going to be what wins them this series. Honestly, I really do. Because I think, the star players, they're going to cancel each other out. But I think when it's time, man, in the second and third quarters, y'all, where games are really won. People always say the games are won in the fourth quarter. Y'all, games, in my opinion, are really won in that second and third quarter. And I think the Minnesota Lynx, because of the depth that they have on their bench, man, again, and Atisha Heidman, Maisha Hines Allen, Dorka Uhas, Xander Lucini, I think it's going to be a little bit too much for the New York Liberty to overcome, man. I like the Minnesota Lynx, y'all, to win their first championship since 2017, defeating the New York Liberty, in 5 games, y'all. This is going to be a phenomenal series. I think it's going to be one of the best WNBA Finals in recent history, y'all. And I cannot wait for it to start on tomorrow night. Um, I'm gonna try to watch, as much of this game as I can. For those that don't know, man, the Lakers are playing tomorrow night, which means we probably will get to see LeBron and Bronny play in their second game together. So I do want to see that. But I'm also going to be keeping my eye on this game because I am a WNBA fan as well. Not just an NBA fan, not just an NFL fan, but I'm also a huge WNBA fan, y'all. So there I have it again. My prediction, man, I got the Minnesota Lynx in 5 games. Hey, I might be wrong. It's going to be very close, man. But I do think this is going to be a 5-game series. Whoever wins this series, I don't think, obviously, it won't be a sweep, and I don't think they'll win in 4. I think this will go to distance, be a 5-game series. I incorrectly predicted the Las Vegas Aces to win in 5, but hey, I will give myself this. I correctly predicted the Minnesota Lynx to beat the Connecticut Sun in 5 games, and that's what they did, y'all. But again, this is gonna be a great series, and I cannot wait to see what happens, man. Give me y'all predictions. You don't got to give it right now if you don't have it ready, but you could always come back later to this live stream, man. Drop a comment, give me your prediction for this series. Remember, y'all, left good messages of what? Make sure you get your daily dose. Y'all know I'm the end, man. I love y'all. God bless. Peace.